Hi, I'm Sherrita C W Delacruz, and this is the Figures of Speech Talkcast, powered by Blast Media Networks, Esoterica Entertainment, and you. And today we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, the big G, grief. It can apply to people, places, things, ideas, situations. Nonetheless, it is a thing, and it can definitely put a damper on life. It definitely can put you in a place where you feel like you can't even move because it is a matter of the heart. I am starting September off with this because so many people I know are dealing with it, have experienced it, and are coping with it at this time. Myself, I can speak on my experience. This is the 5th year that we will remember my grandfather this week. They passed September 5th, 2020. Yes, on the same day. My father died early on the 5th, and my grandfather died in the evening on the 5th, on the same day. No, it was unrelated. No, it was not expected. Yes, they both were in hospice. But just because someone is in hospice doesn't mean that you're going to just be like, oh, okay, right? The idea of those loved ones not being there anymore can be tragic, can be debilitating, right? Especially with folks passing on the same day. That was just beyond me. But God has a plan, and we know it, right? To get to a place to understand how to stabilize myself with that, I cannot tell you that I would be where I am speaking to you today about it back then, because I couldn't even imagine even just talking about it to myself in the mirror. I had to poise myself, get myself in a position where I could stand and step forward one day at a time and get it going. And I'm going to share those tips with you today. I don't want you to feel like you can't get past this moment. You'll never get over it, okay? I'm just going to be real with you. You're going to have some sad days. I'm going to be real with you. Everyone tries to imagine, oh, I won't just not have to deal with it. I'm going to have perfect days every day for the rest of my days. No, that's not the case. We have to learn how to navigate this challenge, and we can do it together. Additionally, my mom passed last year in May, and that put me in a chokehold. I thought that Daddy and Granddaddy passing was a lot. It's been a long 5 years, y'all. But we can get to a place where we can navigate past those moments, right? First and foremost, you have to care about yourself. Care about yourself enough to know that you're going to be okay. Even if you just say, I'm going to be okay. It's a reality. I'm going to be okay. No, it's not selfish to want to be okay in the process of losing your loved one or whatever it is that's causing you grief. In order for you to sustain life and remain here for as long as God wants you here, right? You gotta put yourself in a position to say, I'm gonna be okay. You gotta eat. Part of self-care is eating, getting physical, even if you just walk to the mailbox in the back. Hydrating, making sure that you're drinking water and getting yourself together, keeping your hydration up. Because if your electrolytes and your hydration is wiped out in your body, you're gonna get in trouble. Sleep. You gotta sleep. You don't want to stay up all night thinking about all of the things that we think about when we're going through this and navigating to the next moment, right? I'm trying to tell you, I had to understand all of these things because I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't hydrating, and I wasn't being physical. I was just sitting in my easy chair last year. This time last year, as a matter of fact, just chilling, right? Dwelling. I actually had my coffee table with my mother's funeral flowers sitting right in front of me every single day. That's not healthy at all. You have to put yourself in a position to say, I'm going to be okay, and commit yourself to that and see what you can do to help yourself get past those moments and stabilize yourself in those times of grief, right? I could smile right now because by the grace of God, I prayed and I listened and I understood what I was going to have to do in order to be able to be okay, to get past that moment, to be able to stabilize myself. That don't mean I don't love them. It don't mean that I will forget about them. You couldn't have told me that in 2020 or in 2024. You couldn't have told me that. No, I have to make sure I'm remembering them in everything that I do. You will always remember them. You will always remember them. You will always love them. From what I understand, the more you love someone, the greater the grief. Sometimes you just got to do that too, right? Our loved ones loved us so much, they would want us to find a way to be okay. Remember that. And even in situations where it's a situation, idea, or a thing that you're grieving. It could be your favorite car broke down. It could be, and I'm not being superficial because we want to make sure that we're letting people know that grief comes in many shapes and forms. Of course, the big one is the loss of life, right? But losing things that mean something or are important to you, like a favorite car, retirements, losing a job, someone in your life moves away to a place that you're not going to be able to substantiate your normal routine or activities with that person, relationships, friendships. All of these entail a process of grief, right? And you just have to start with, I'm going to be okay, and move past that moment. Seeking support, right? Sometimes you don't want to go to your friends or your family members about what's grieving you. One, if it's family, you're all grieving the same thing. For me, I didn't want to go to my family members when I wanted to grieve heavily, because they might have been having a good day and I didn't want to disturb their peace in those moments. I went to therapy, and it helped me because I sought out a professional who was trained to deal with what I was attempting to cope with, taught me coping mechanisms, taught me things that were going to help me navigate and stabilize myself in my grief of my loved ones. I was in a support group for a time, right? And there was a therapist there named Tiffany Fox. Shouts out to Tiffany Fox. There was a term that she introduced in the sessions, and I acknowledge it and embrace it to this day. It's called ride the wave. And that's what she was saying in regard to grief. It's a wave. Comes and goes up and down, right? But in no uncertain terms, it's going to be there. You just have to know how to deal with it when that wave comes. that blew my mind, and I embrace that thought often when it comes to grief. The biggest thing for me, the biggest, most absolute, largest part of my life that helped me get to where I am and the woman you see right now is my faith in God. If it weren't for God, I wouldn't have been able to move past that moment. We will never forget. We will never forget our loved ones. We will never forget that day they passed. We will never forget that day that we funeralized them. We will never forget the things that we went through in order to get to that place. All I know is that to God goes the glory for all that He has done for me in regard to my grief. Shout out to my pastors for being supportive in the process all the way through, right? Even to this day. Expressing your feelings. You can journal. If you're a creative, you can write, you can draw, you can paint, you can create poetry and pottery. Shouts out to Shay Black. Poetry and pottery. Queen in South Carolina. Yes. She lost a son, and she utilizes poetry and pottery as coping mechanism in her process, right? You can find different ways to positively express your grief in regard to your loved ones passing, or in regard to the grief that you're having. You gotta be patient with yourself. Patience is a virtue. We know this. Love is patient. Love is kind, right? And when you're loving yourself, you have to be that to yourself. You can't be bogged down with all the things that you think you should be doing, and you can't be bogged down with, I'm not over this yet. Maybe you didn't cry at the funeral. Maybe you didn't cry when that person went away that you really love, and you didn't get to tell them all the things that you wanted to tell them. Do not be hard on yourself, because we cannot get past this moment. We cannot stabilize ourselves in our grief until we can start with patience and love with ourselves. Let's talk about finding a way to navigate our lives after the particular situation that has caused us grief has occurred, right? I can't say it enough. I did not ever believe that I would be in this place 5 years ago. It was a tough spot, y'all. I did not think that I would even be in this place a year ago. Very, very heavy duty. Losing people that you love. Losing the people that brought us into this world, right? I think that it's important for us to know that there is a way to move forward. We will never forget. We will never stop loving them. But to be able to move forward in a positive way as often as we can, or at least with positivity at the forefront of our minds to get us where we need to go. We have some tips in order to get to that place. Making sure that we take care of ourselves, making sure that we express ourselves, making sure that we put ourselves in position to be heard and to feel the feels. There's no way to avoid it. You can't avoid the feeling. It's going to come on you one way or another. So you have to deal with it in your time, but know that it has to be dealt with in order to be able to successfully move past that moment and get on the other side of it, so you can start to see what life can be like in that process. All right. I pray that everybody continues to do well in their process. Make sure that you are reaching out to someone, a trusted friend, or even a professional, to help you get to the place where you need to be when it comes to your grief. This has been the Figures of Speech Talkcast. Have a good one.